episode of the Noticing Club. We got nuked on Substack, but we're back here on YouTube now, stronger than ever. And I got with me here my co-host, Deborelli. Do you like to introduce yourself? By the way, my name is Patrik Fridén. I'm a veteran in the European nationalist movement of Sweden. Do you like to introduce yourself, Deborelli?
Oh yeah, my name is Deborah, Deb Nemeth, and I run a website called Deborah.com, Navigating the Culture Wars, and we examine all of the topics and subjects and things that are occurring nationally and globally, and perform investigations into all of these things to test the veracity of all of it. It's Deborelli.com, Navigating the Culture Wars, and I'm Deborelli.
Great, great. And what do you usually write about there, you say? Culture Wars?
Well, it deals with everything that we have seen, and it goes back quite a bit in time. It depends on where you want to start, but I think that what we're seeing out here with the effect of a nation, it goes all the way back, probably at least to the 16th century.
With Venice.
Because we have to understand what's happening out here is a concerted, organized effort. And we have to examine Talmudism in order to get to the root of the culprit.
Let's get to our. Oh, I'm sorry. I interrupted you there. We have a little bit of a connection issue between me and Deborelli here, audience, so that's why there might be some delay. She has some echoes. She might need to turn off her mic sometimes if I talk for long periods. But anyway, I'm going to get to the agenda here now. So let's start off first with Trump appearing, of course, in the Epstein files. And we also have, on top of that, some audio files leaking again about Podesta, where he's seemingly torturing kids or something like that. What do you know, Deborelli?
Well, I mean, I've been following this since WikiLeaks were leaked. And so we know that the culprits in the United States are heavily on the left, or so to speak. We know the identities of the culprits on the left. We know that the Democrats are involved in occultism, ritual torture, child sex trafficking, and human trafficking in general. So, I mean, the new information that came out, it really works to just keep that in the conversation. So we have a bigger story developing here. And I guess I could get to the punchline, which is that all of your leaders, politicians, masters of industry, your banking class, international banking, entertainers, sports entertainers, Hollywood entertainers, they're all a part of this network of child traffickers, sex traffickers, and occultism.
Right. And do you think that so let's break it down into some goals here. I mean, obviously we have these real sickos that are after some sort of occult powers. I mean, I'm not the most literate man, but I have studied a lot of old literature. I browsed through what grimoires say just to see what our grimoires about, and I can see child sacrifice and all blood sacrifice and all that shit. It's in there. Like that's what the kind of stuff that they read. But I don't think that all the people that are involved in these circles have these kind of beliefs. Some of them are just out for the kick. some might have just got too drunk and didn't guess the age correctly, and then they were down in it, and then they got deeper down and into it. That kind of shit. So, what do you think are the main goals? Is this occultism? Is it blackmail for a nation, or what do you think?
Well, I mean, it frankly, all Sabachian Frankenstein and Talmudism and a certain nation that we refer to as our greatest ally is at the center of all of it.
Of course.
Actually, every foul thing that occurs globally, these people are always there. Like the Sarajevo issue that is being revisited.
Oh yeah, the sniper safari stuff. Yeah, that was really
Yeah.
sick. Yeah. And that was actually, I'm sorry, I might seem a little bit ignorant here, but to me, maybe I had heard a little bit through the grapevine that Israel helped Serbia before, but I was always like, I thought the Serbians were kind of like the good guys, but then I heard this shit that they like basically let the Israeli did they even let Israeli mercenaries into the war with them, or how deep was the Israeli connection to the Serbs in that war?
I mean, they're reportedly they were involved, not just with the human safari, a sniper
Yeah.
entertainment. Like it's insane that CEOs, masters of industry, politicians, people that we refer to as the elite, were purchasing entertainment packages. That's what they were. And this is like the big story. But then there was a cover up that was conducted by the Israelis, I guess, to clean up any evidence
But it was kind of
that was.
sloppily done, even though it has been efficiently, seemingly covered up until now. Now we in the year of the great noticing, 2025. Why do you think it went under the radar so far?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the boomers didn't really seem very inquisitive.
Right.
They are still are not
Are they
inquisitive.
are they ever inquisitive? The boomers. I'm sorry.
And we were all, some of us weren't even born. We
Oh
were
yes.
very small children.
Sometimes I forget that you.
We were young, so we couldn't, do anything. In fact, you knew, like I knew that something really bad was going on. And I know I always thought like, well, why aren't we doing anything to stop this? That's all I thought as a child.
Hmm. You mean the Yugoslav wars in general?
Right, the carnage, because we would hear about the carnage.
So you don't support them bombing Serbia in '99 when NATO went in and just decimated them. You don't think that was a solution? I guess.
I don't think that the policy of Zog
No.
to target civilian populations, I'll never be able to get behind that
No.
because it's going to be us.
It's always going to be a new enemy, and you might always end up on that list, of course. Yeah. So, I mean, let's get back a little bit to the agenda here. What do you think is going to be the repercussions for people like Podesta and Trump now? Are they going to be subpoenaed? Are they going to be indicted? What's going to happen?
Well, I mean, Trump just announced or demanded, I should say, that the DOJ start a new investigation into the Epstein fiasco, which is an interesting happenstance. So that means like within the past couple of months, first he stated that it's a nothing burger, as everybody likes to use that term.
Yeah.
But then I guess Democrats wouldn't let it go because they thought that in their hatred of Trump, they thought that they could snag him. And I think that it was a gift more so for them that the government would walk away from the Epstein investigation. And if they're actually going to start, I don't know. I'm not saying it's 3D chess. Or what are we up to now? 96? But I'm not saying that. But if I wanted to snag a pedophile, I might screw with them a little bit.
What I'm wondering a little bit is how to address what I mean. The MAGA is falling apart. MAGA is falling in together with the TP. The young part of MAGA, should I say, is falling in line with TPUSA and is falling in line with Fuentes. Basically, that's what's seemingly happened with their movement. But the previous figures of MAGA that the boomers of the movement still look up to, like Trump and everyone in his cabinet. I mean, when the boomers say, "Oh," I assume they're boomers because I can't understand who else would reason like that. But when they say, "Oh, this can't be true because if it was true, that Trump was in there, they would have released it already under Biden." What do you say to that? What do you even answer to such a argument? So
So like when you're talking about criminality and criminal culpability, if you had knowledge, he didn't have to participate. He just had to have knowledge of these abuses.
Exactly.
Now, I'm not saying that he had that knowledge, but they don't need to find President Trump with his pants down. I mean, with a teenager or something like that. So we have to wait and see. I don't.
No, but I
I
mean
don't know where he's
specifically
going to
to
go.
this argument that they're giving, that they're saying that it cannot be true that this leak that Trump is actually in these emails, because if it was true, they claim that it would have been revealed already 5 years ago during the Biden era. That's what their claim is, and usually I respond like this myself. I say, they're all on the list. Okay.
Yeah.
And the reason that they're daring to reveal a part of it now is I can see a multiple reasons for that. Maybe Trump isn't as pliable as they thought, that he's been trying to rebel a little bit on some issues because he wants to look better, because he's getting so much scorn for falling in line with the Israel lobby all the time. That could be it. It could also be that it was planned to be like this, that there is a just like with the UFOs, there's like a planned disclosure of showing that the entire ruling class of the Western world is corrupt, so that they want to initiate a revolution that they can control. That could be another reason. I can actually think of a lot of reasons why they wouldn't want to reveal it until now, because we're in a very precarious political situation after the assassination of Kirk in the Western world and the start of the English Revolution now. So I can see a lot of angles of attack that they haven't tried before on Trump, but that they have to do on Trump now because they might be running out of choices. He might be a little bit of a loose cannon or something like that. Do you think that that's the reason that he's a loose cannon?
No, I just think he's reactionary. He's a boomer. He's reactionary. They're used to pushing people's buttons, and if you push their buttons, they're going to attack. And since they came after him, he's going after them. It's that simple. But to be honest, when you really think about it, let's go back to like 2015 and some of the embarrassments that were dished out to Trump by Obama. Like, why wouldn't he want to go after them? You know, it fits his personality profile. Like, take them all down, right?
Right.
But the way I kind of see it is like he gave them a gift, and they looked a gift horse in the mouth, because we already know that the Democrat Party is perverts
Yeah,
and
it could
perverse.
also be just like to put the onus on him. Now that they know that, I think that the tribe, they know that their little pawn called the Democratic Party is a horse that will not be able to run many more races. That's what I think. That it's a used up puppet that they will have to discard. But they will have to put the onus and make sure that Trump understands that that they own him. So that might be now why they're,
Well, I mean, I think that's what that whole pretend assassination attempt was, actually. It was like a loyalty exercise.
Oh yeah.
You know, the piercing of the ear.
When I first saw it, I was like, wow, that is such a great photo op. It's too good to be true.
Yep.
It looks so great how they staged all of that. So to me, it just looked like, nah. I think it was all staged, but you think it was some level of seriousness to that assassination
Well, I
attempt?
think symbolism. It's the symbolism that always gives them away. You know?
Well, I have to admit that if I saw myself in hindsight almost getting my own head blown off, yeah, maybe that would make me think twice about
Oh
some
no,
some paths of action. Yeah.
I think that I don't know. Is he that stupid?
That's the thing about Trump. You never know. You know that um, he can talk to sixth graders on a sixth grader level, and he can talk to businessmen on businessmen's level, and you don't really know what kind of what the extent of his vocabulary actually is, but he likes huge words, huge words. Yeah.
He's funny. I mean, we can only look at what is there. We know it was phony. We all saw it. I mean,
Most of
they.
all, we saw what came of it. We saw the results. We were everyone was thinking, I wasn't exactly thinking, I was like 50-50 at that point. That maybe it's real, maybe it's not.
I see. I didn't think
Actually,
so.
one of the thoughts that came to mind when I saw that assassination attempt, I was immediately thinking about the prophecy about the Antichrist receiving a wound to the head that would seem fatal, that he would recover from and look miraculous like from.
Yep.
This prophecy, yes? And that kind of like, that is a head wound that Trump got, and he recovered from it, and now he's the most powerful man in the world. I mean, yeah, you know what I mean? That felt kind of icky to me, but it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell always where the agenda is going at the current level of things and the current state of things. I have to shout out here, even though we are a completely unknown podcast currently, to Matt Kim show, the Matt and Kim show. I love how they really dare to go out of the box and say, we're not going to think like all the other ones in the movement about this. Let's find some fresh angles and see if maybe we haven't figured this Kansas City shuffle out correctly just yet, because that's what it is. This whole fucking shit is a Kansas City shuffle. They want you to think that here's the deception, but actually the deception is going on somewhere else. And that's
Exactly.
always the case with this shit, And let's go on the list here. We've been talking about these pedos forever now. So we have the genocide in Sudan. So
Uh,
Gaza is now being overshadowed by this genocide that is so massive in Sudan that it can be spotted from space. They can see blood trails from space as these Jewish, Arabic, and other Zionist mercenaries just go through these villages in Sudan and slaughter everyone. Well, they're puppets, maybe. I don't know if they're directly doing it, but I saw some video footage of some Arab woman in the north of Sudan was basically cheering and say, "Hey, all of you South Sudan women, you can come here so we can clean your lineage." Basically, she was saying, "Come here so we can rape you, and then you'll be
that's
safe."
hard.
Yeah. An Arab woman was standing there shouting in the desert in the north of Sudan. I was looking at that. I was just like, it was just incredulous to look at. So, what are your
Yeah, it
thoughts?
is. Well, I mean, this is the plan, right? The they're communist. That's what the Jews are, and that's what they've done throughout the decades, generations. They march through the globe, destroying entire ethnicities and bloodlines. And they either wipe you out completely, genocide you, or they breed you out. That's what they have been doing the entire time. That's what they do.
Are we talking about this phenomena like going all the way back to like the Khazarian Empire, or are we going further?
Um, we could actually go back uh, really far, depending on how you want to look at it. But I was actually just referring
I mean,
to World War II, and
mm,
from that point,
oh yeah, of course.
you know, all of
The
ethnic
firebombing of Dresden.
Russia.
The firebombing of Dresden was an absolutely atrocious war crime. I mean, you can say
But they
whatever you
needed
want
to burn
about
offers.
Hitler's policies. I mean, I didn't 100% back all of Hitler's policies. I think that the Nuremberg laws were a little bit over the top, but I mean, putting an entire city under firebombing that are just a bunch of civilians. And after the war, they put like 1 million POWs in a camp and just starved them to death, didn't they? I mean,
Yeah,
that's kind of over the top as well, to me at
it
least, because
really is.
those were just Wehrmacht soldiers. They were not even SS or anything, right?
I mean, uh, these people are inhuman. They're inhuman. They accuse the Nazis, the National Socialists, I'm sorry, of doing exactly what they were doing, what they did, and what they continue to do, unfettered after the war,
Yeah.
which was to, they said that they wanted to genocide or exterminate these Germans.
Right.
And they did what they
There's an
always
entire
do.
book written about it, like Germany Must Perish, is it called, right? The book.
Germany must perish.
Yeah.
And so they slaughtered people. If you even spoke German, you know, and
What was
many people are
the
bilingual.
what was the name of the Jewish author again of Germany Must Perish? Was a guy with
I
some
do not
glasses.
recall that.
Yeah, I can see the face in front of me, but
Yeah,
Germany Must Perish. You can check it out
yeah.
for yourself, audience. But yeah, we and the Morgenthau plan was also quite genocidal in its nature, right?
It was absolutely, but you know, this is all modern, the modern atrocities that a lot of people of our land, they know about. They know about. But where does it all really come from? Because it goes back a bit further than we like to consider.
Yeah.
And it was a concerted effort. You're going to hear about, you're going to hear the usual names, but we don't really talk enough about individuals like Isaac Luria, who actually transformed Judaism. Whoop, I'm sorry to say.
No worries.
And really inserted like ignited that whole Talmudic, what would become Sabbatian Frankism.
Right.
So first you have Isaac Luria, and he's the one who said that Jews
The chosen
should,
ones. Hmm?
the chosen ones, have to take an active and conscious um, action toward their cultural and or I want to use the word religious, but it's so much more toward their goals, their group goals, that they have to actually make these things happen. So he was the first one who said that. And then after Isaac Luria, you had Sabotage Debbie, which everybody knows about.
Yeah, him.
So,
He's
and,
like the most prominent figure in that movement that I know about. But
right, and so then,
I want to know a little bit about because I read a little bit. I don't know how many pages read of that now. It's a long book. 200 Years Together by Alexander Solzhenitsyn.
yes, yes,
And I think he goes into a little bit about that, about the origin of the Chabad Lubavitch sect back in
yes.
like the 17th century, back over in the Eastern Europe. And he basically in the book he presents Chabad Lubavitch as like modern reformers of Judaism, like they're almost like they're taking over the old. I don't remember. They created like so there was the Gentile Christian state above, and then they had like a pseudo Jewish parliament of elders that controlled the Jewish diaspora within the borders. But
Mm-hmm.
that old like aristocracy of the Jews before Chabad Lubavitch, they lost power and they were very much fought by the Chabad Lubavitch sect. Now I want to know what's the connection between Chabad Lubavitch and Zionism, of course, uh, with Sabbathi and Frankism? Is there like are there some people who are directly connected within the rabbinic lineage there?
Right. So the Hasidic part of that group are the ones that adhere to Isaac Luria's framework that he laid down. That's who the Chabad Lubavitch are. It's
So
Jewish
they just
ministry.
they taken these principles of like invert good and evil and taking it to the core. But what is differentiating Chabad or Lubavitch from Sabbathi and Frankists? Is there any difference?
Um, I have to say no.
So it's just a new brand for the same.
No, it's the same. It's the same. And then when you look at Satanism, what they'll tell you is Satanism, it's the same. So these ones who are operating at a very high level they really are these Sabbatean Frankists, the Chabad Lubavitch
Mm.
types. They really are, because they work through the building and extraction of or manufacturing of consent, which is so that they can uh, transfer karmic debt
Oh yes.
onto others,
So
the
to so
unsuspecting masses.
so to the synagogue, this is very much for them a spiritual battle, even if it's from the evil side. They inverted it. They think that we are the evil. I know the in Kabbalah they say that you and me, because of we are Gentiles, we are born from like a satanic realm or something. That's what they believe, and that they are from
Satanic
heaven.
spirit.
Yeah, right. A satanic Sephiroth, right? And but I mean this inversion, they consider themselves as heroes basically, even when they're out there raping Palestinians. they consider themselves heroes because they're putting what animals and beasts in their place or something, or what are they? What? How do you think they justify themselves in their dark little hearts?
Well, I mean, they say that we're not fully human. That they're human. We are. That's why they call us goyim, a beast,
And they
a
think in
beast.
their occult little fucked up worldview that they can what? They can make all of their misdeeds be unseen by God by somehow transferring them onto us as scapegoats. That's what they
Yeah,
think. And
right.
I mean, it's such a perfect satanic lie. How would they ever come to believe such a thing except if they were total narcissists, total psychopaths? Could they have embraced this worldview in any other way except if that was the zeitgeist of their people?
Well, we have to go back. We have to go back to the Babylonian captivity. So,
So this is kind of like a. Now that you say that, that reminds me of how like, oh, he became a perv because his father abused him. It's kind of like that story, you know,
well,
like how you.
that's actually true for much of the culture. That culture,
Yeah.
it's trauma based. It's
Right.
obvious. It's trauma based. You can
All of
know
them
from
like
people's
his
behavior what
father
has
abused
happened to
his
them.
son and then he abused his son and then he abused his son and then he abused his son. So that's how it goes down. It's abuse
Yeah,
all the way down. Yeah.
generational trauma.
Yeah.
It works
And
for
that's how
everyone,
they.
even in America.
And I also learn. I mean, when you learn dark psychology, you also learn that trauma based um, relationships seem to have a very let's say strong glue that is almost indescribably strong, and it's because of this.
Yep,
That's what the MK Ultra, the CIA, MK Ultra. That's what they were actually investigating. How trauma can make people unhinged and
that's how you
accepting
control them.
of very strange ideas. Yes.
Absolutely. Man, we've learned a lot about that. Uh, but the entire culture is like, if you notice, the people, they're always like live wires. They're always like this. They're extremely frenetic. Have you noticed that? Like the level of freneticism. It's not a level of
Yeah,
stillness,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. I have noticed. Even when I met Jews in Colombia, I met Jews in Ukraine, I met Jews in Greece. Well, I didn't meet. Well, I met one personally in Ukraine, but I didn't really get to know him very well. He was the chef of the battalion of Azov. No, sorry, not Azov. Aidar. So I was a little bit confused. Oh, we have a Jewish chef. All right. Hope I'll live through the day. But anyway, so in Greece, I met some Jews that I didn't speak much of my political opinions because I wanted to know about their political opinions. So I was like tagging them through the day and pretending to be the tourist guide, let's say. And
Right.
at the end, we had some beers, and I learned that through even in Colombia, I did the same kind of thing just to see what their opinions are. I got to learn. I got to know a lot of them personally there, and they're all into like liberalism, extreme liberalism, or even communism. I remember that the Jewish woman that I met, one of them in Greece. She said, "Oh, all non-communists, they should be executed after the revolution." And then her friend said, "Shh, don't say that." It was fucking absurd to be hanging out with them, and I was just pretending to be a neutral observer, explaining to them the complexities of the 1930s government of Greece, as it was fascist, but it was pro-British and anti-German, and it was very very complicated. But and in Colombia, they're all Zionist. They're all like R&R from IDF. They're there to for blackjack, hookers, and cocaine, basically, and partying. I mean, that's what they're all there for. Just like in Thailand, or just like any other place they go to abuse the local population.
Yeah.
And maybe I shouldn't say that Colombia has turned completely against all of them on like an ethnic level, but Colombia is not very happy about Israel in this current day and age.
Well,
They kicked the last diplomats out of this country not long ago, I think. But what I always want to know, what they always are liberal, Zionist, or communist. I never met a common sense Jew. They're always liberal, communist, or Zionist in the most fanatical, frenetical manner, like you said before.
yeah. I mean, they have so much infrastructure in place to, support cohesion, group cohesion, that you don't get outliers. You don't really get outliers. We're
So
not talking about like
they're very
the
good at
regular Americans,
basically they have like a totalitarian type of culture that is very good at controlling them somehow.
right? Because if at once you say that you are of that group, there's just a whole host of things that go along with that
You must
individuals with
accept.
the Western worldview don't understand.
Right.
So they don't understand how you can be of that group, and it doesn't matter if you're Orthodox or atheist. Like, it doesn't matter.
Mm.
Nothing changes. It's more like an ethnic culture. It's a culture. So if I say I'm of that culture, the shades don't really like, it doesn't change. Like, for a Christian, if they say that they're an atheist and they don't believe in God, but if you say, Rabbi, I'm an atheist, he might joke and say, hey, I'm an atheist. Like, it's
When I look
it's the
back at historical
explanation of
figures,
God. It's
when I
not.
look back at historical figures like Commander Rockwell of the Nazi Party of the United States, even though I don't think he was serious about his so-called Nazism. That was more like a shock
To annoy
and like
people.
kind of like an image aesthetic effect that he did just to gain attention. But
Yeah.
his main concern with Jews was just the atheist communist Jews. He didn't have any problems with the other ones, he said. So, do you think that that kind of division of them is helpful? Like, should we save all the Norman Finkelsteins of the world just to get rid of the Zionists, or do you think that there's a meaningful distinction here?
But I really don't, because so what is Judaism?
And what I
It's
mean save, I
litigating
mean
God.
like keep inside of our respective national communities and not we're not talking about the final solution, people. Okay. So what we mean is should we keep them in our countries or not as our countrymen on some level? That's what I mean.
Oh, that's what you're asking me.
Yes, that's what I'm asking.
Um, when people find out the level of subversion, it's all the way at the top. Your international banking, your heads of corporate conglomerates like BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard. It's your university. It's they have captured every institution.
All of them. So we are
It's
like
not for me to
Pokemons.
say.
We are like
Only the
Pokemons to
men.
them. Our institutions are like Pokemons to them. You got to catch all of them. Is that what you're saying?
They did catch all of them.
Yeah,
the religious institutions, everything.
everything.
There's not
I
even
want,
room for Torah
when
Jews.
isn't that a little bit of a black pill though? Don't you think that they're? I haven't asked you, Debbie. I know you're Christian, but what denomination are you? I'm Catholic, by the way. You know that.
I mean, I don't fit that on any denomination. I was raised Catholic. My mom is Catholic, so I have all of my requisite sacraments. But I was also raised Christian at the same time because my grandmother was
That there is no
Protestant.
distinction. Wait. There is no distinction between Christian and Catholic. Go on.
You better tell them that. I'll tell you what. When I was a little kid, I was very hard nosed, and I didn't care for the Catholics. And I went to Catholic school for a number of years. And the reason I didn't really like them is because back then the Christians exemplified the Protestants, Presbyterians, whatever. Um, what the way that you're supposed to live. So it's not Christianity is not just like a religion you can set aside.
No.
See, there's why Judaism outperformed Christianity because and that it stands from atheist to this one to that one because no, it's their culture, it's their way of life, and Christianity is the same thing. So then when I looked at the Catholics gambling and drinking and smoking, the priests and things like that,
Now I feel a little bit judged here, Deborah, but thank you.
well, listen, when I was a teeny bopper, and my mom was saying you have to get confirmed, and I was like, I don't want to be confirmed. Like that's my first decision I ever made, right? I don't want to be confirmed. Of course, I did not have a choice.
Well, I can understand. I think what you're trying to get to here is a kind of like a rejection that I had before of let's say of all high church Christianity from Protestantism to Catholicism was that I thought that they think of religion as a little bit mechanistic. That soteriology is mechanistic. If you just do all these sacraments, you're gonna get saved. I don't think that that's how salvation works. But I think that the sacraments are important, absolutely important, because it builds your character, it builds your soul, it builds your relationship to God and your relationship to other fellow Christians, and it improves you because it helps you build the character that you need. It informs you about your Christian duties. I think that religious life is important. Um,
Um,
but what I
sorry.
am today skeptical about, why I got into this discussion is like, are there any real Christian leaders left that we can trust? And also, I want to know basically how far down are we already? How infiltrated are our churches at this point, no matter if it's Catholic or if it's Orthodox or Baptist, or do you think that they're all like take a guy like Steven Anderson, for example, a leader of a Baptist church? Do you think that he's compromised?
I think everyone's compromised
He's
because they're
he's very outspoken against a certain people, just so you know.
well.
But
I think there's ideological subversion, and it goes way back. So the ideas that are codified in the Bible are problematic. Some of them are problematic. The first
I also
one
want to
for
go back to
me,
this whole thing you said about um, cultural, because the Jews are more of a culture than a religion or a people. I heard some
right?
people even say they're not a race. They're not a race. They have all different races. But I say, but you can spot them from a mile away because they have a certain physiognomy and phenotype. That means that
Yep.
they are a race. That they are a race
Well,
because they
there's
have.
a racial component.
Yeah, But
Absolutely.
when we just talk about culture, and we compare it to Christian, let's say my brother he calls himself a culture Christian. My mother calls herself a cultural Christian. I understand what they mean, that they adhere to the basic tenets, the commandments, a lot of the virtues. They don't want to take it to the extreme. I'm not a Jesus freak, that kind of stuff. But they are culturally Christian,
Right.
and they don't want Islam, or they don't want any other pagan religion to take over their land, really,
Right.
because it's just foreign to them. But they aren't, going to church regularly. They go to some sacraments, they go to the weddings, they go to the baptisms, they go to the funerals. That's what they do.
Right.
Right. So is that
Well,
enough,
are there?
or is it not enough?
Well, they're a cultural Christian. That means that they're living their lives with certain morals and values, and they're influencing others with those morals and values. Doesn't really matter if you. Well, I think that it matters if you go to church. I don't go to church, but
I
I'll
don't.
tell you what. If I thought, I don't think that it's. I think it's an untapped opportunity for people because you have an uptick in church attendance and interest, and it's really the last area where white people are permitted to they're permitted to congregate, to
Well,
associate. They're not
I
white
got
people are not
I
really
got another activity, or a couple of activities,
okay.
but mainly this one: outdoors activities, going into the mountains and the forests. I don't see a lot of non-whites there for some reason.
That's another one, I guess. That you know, you notice in Canada, there's not many people out of the forest and stuff. You'll start a fire.
Yeah,
You can't
I mean,
protect
actually,
it.
that's been a real issue in Sweden, because we started issuing public fire bans because of wildfire warnings and dangers, and
Huh?
we could immediately tell if someone wasn't properly assimilated into Swedish culture, because they didn't pay attention to Swedish news, because they started barbecuing out in the national parks, and the cops came and said, there's a fire ban this week because it's too hot right now. So and usually these people were like gypsies. To be honest, they were usually gypsies out in
Uh-uh.
the national parks and such, and they just wanted to barbecue, and it's just,
Do
you
they
can
still
just
live in
tell. Oh,
caravans and stuff?
uh
Do they still live in caravans and stuff?
in Sweden, I mean, you have to admit that there are a lot of different traveling peoples around.
Okay.
There's, like, the Romani, classical Romani, and then there's, like, other types of traveling people that are related to, for what they call the Irish pikeys, or
Oh yeah, I
different
know,
types of these
but
kind
they're
of
not
traveling.
really gypsies.
Yeah, but you can always tell that these people were foreigners, because they hadn't paid an ounce of attention to radio or TV banning fire for the week in that certain area, because there was, like, wildfire warnings. So that was an issue. I guess it was like 10 years ago. I used to read about it, and laugh a little about it. Like, they arrested another one of those arsonists, arsonists out in the fort. I don't think that they did anything with malicious intent. It was just that they weren't informed about the public service announcements. So, but that's just a little tangent. Let's go back a little bit to the agenda here. If we lost the thread, we missed
Okay,
anything.
1 second.
Let's see here on my papers.
Let that out.
Oh yes, the blackout. Should we go a little bit about? I think yes, this one. The end of the government shutdown. What does it mean for you guys?
Well, I'll tell you what. how about these 50-year mortgages?
Huh?
That's the bone that we peasants have been thrown. 50-year mortgages and
Oh.
15-year car loans. That's how they're going to help us out.
And I also hear now, I don't know if it's World Economic Forum or some similar think tank, but that they're saying that they also want 50% unemployment in Western countries to be able to put the worker in his place, put the employees in their place again.
Well,
No,
I
they
mean,
gotta know who's boss, you know?
so I think after 2020, they really thought a lot of people would work from home and things like that. But once the restrictions were lifted, people went back to life as usual, and the only thing that was really damaged here, I mean, other technical stuff, was small business. They really put a dent. They destroyed small business and medium businesses, people that hire other people, which really is the backbone of American capitalism. For everyone who hates capitalism.
Well, I have to admit, I was actually a Marxist back when I was 13.
I
I've always been anti-capitalist, but I don't think that the solution to capitalism is to dissolve private markets. I just think that private markets need to exist. We need to regulate them, and it needs to be some sort of justice between capital and labor. One cannot live without the other. If you kill all the capital and the brain, well, then you got the fucking Soviet Union. And if you kill all the labor or whatever Peter Thiel wants to do, then you're living in an anarcho-capitalist crapsack world where
Yep.
the reptile Peter Thiel is your antichrist overlord, and I don't want to live in either of those systems. I just want I really that's why I really love Catholic social doctrine and integralism, because it balances these interests so well, and and it puts in the center, it says, be observant that you let the working man pay attention to his religious duties, and so that he can also feed his family and isn't threatened to be having to leave his land to go in search for work elsewhere and such. This is why I love Catholicism and Catholic social doctrine.
Well, I mean, that definitely flies in the face of what Ben Shapiro uh, indicated recently. And I am not sure exactly who he was speaking to in particular, but he indicated that our nations are merely banking zones.
Oh,
And so if you can't, as an individual,
that's how they think. That's how they think.
yeah, but what is the reality?
It's. I mean, more and more every single day, I just hear Ryan Gosling's words from the interview in the movie The Believer just echoing in my head. You just want to manipulate numbers, and you think that you can create a nation that way. You cannot, because you need the soil. You need to live somewhere. People, the working classes, they're not cosmopolitans. I can admit that I am a little bit of an internationalist. I've been traveling the world. I came from Europe. I live in South America currently.
Mm-hmm.
Weren't some other people escaping there too back in the past? But whatever. You know, I can admit that I'm a little bit of an internationalist. I've always been a white collar worker most of my life. I work some blue collar jobs. I work in recycling and such, but the working classes, they're not cosmopolitan by nature in any country. They're
I
always
mean, but
rooted to the soil because of their economic situation.
these people are not trying to build or form a nation at all. That's not what they're trying to do. That's not their interest.
Which people do you mean?
the
Well,
the juices,
right, those.
the
Oh, yes.
juices.
Oh, okay. Well, they're trying to establish a really fine homeland for themselves. It's just that it's like in that movie Poltergeist. You remember the movie Poltergeist when they try to build white suburbia on top of an Indian graveyard? Yeah,
Yes.
that's the problem with Gaza right now.
Well,
Or that's going to be the problem with Gaza in the future if they're going to build hotels there.
no, they're trying to make the
You're
whole
gonna have
world
Poltergeist
Israel.
2.0 playing out in Gaza in the future. It's like some sci-fi horror flick or something.
They're trying to make the entire world Israel.
Well,
The entire world.
but you know, don't you trust them, Debrelli? They have this patch on their arm that says, you know, we want it's gonna be this big. It's gonna be in Saudi Arabia. It's gonna be in Egypt and all of Syria and all of Lebanon and some of Turkey and is it all of Iraq and some of Iran? And
Yeah,
then they're done. I promise, Debrelli, they're gonna be satisfied after that. Don't you think that?
No, they have set everything up and the mechanisms are in place for them to make the entire globe Israel. It's already there. It's already there. Once they
Dang.
get digital ID, it's game over. That's game over. And that's imminent. These are people that refer to non-Jews as Goya and think that there are too many people in the world. And for the first time ever, the governing apparatus or authority is going to know every single little thing about its citizens. And unfortunately, Zog is a psychopath and a basic bitch. Are you allowed to say this? Anyway. And so they're worried. They don't want even the lightest dissent.
No.
Like they want you to like them.
Yeah,
to like your servitude.
It's like they're addicted. They're like the most. They're like the most fanatical social media addict that is like, did I get any more likes? Was there another like now? Like they're really tuned in on that, you know. But what do you think now in 2025? I gotta ask you, what do you think are gonna be? What are we gonna see happening in the Western world now that Charlie Kirk was killed after he said something wrong about or asked a few wrong questions, and as I said, MAGA, all the young voters basically of MAGA and the TPUSA are just following into the Nick Fuentes camp. And Nick Fuentes is just blowing up all over YouTube. He doesn't even need to upload his own videos. People are just re-uploading him and re-uploading him and re-uploading. What do you think is going to happen in the United States and the Western world after the great the 2025, the year of the great noticing? What do you think is going to
Well,
happen?
they're going to implement digital ID where they centralize all information about all citizens, right? So up till now, they've kept very close tethers on political leaders, masters of industry, influencers, and they didn't like what Charlie Kirk said in private. They're going to know the same psychopath that murdered Charlie Kirk openly. We're going to have the information of every American citizen. And then they're also going to implement the same types of systems all, across Europe, Canada, every Western nation and beyond.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
maybe I'm asking you. I'm not asking you strictly what the political landscape would look like statecraftly wise, but I'm more asking basically out of like sociopolitical, sociological. What do you think society when you go around talking to regular people, and how are regular people who have now understood that there's a certain group out there that is holding themselves above the law and is making everyone else uh, second or third rate citizens? What are they gonna do when the normies are waking up? When even Asmongold out there is agreeing with Nick Fuentes and a bunch of white male gamers are following him into Nick Fuentes' crowd, what is gonna happen? How are they? How are they? Do they? Are they gonna exterminate millions with bombs and drones? What are they gonna do to stop the noticing?
well, that's where digital ID comes in. All of this time, if you as organizations like the SPLC and the OPP operating in this nation, this country, and they targeted individuals.
But we are not individuals. This is not like the
But listen,
days
they
of.
targeted individuals, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
And then through the
Deb,
government,
let me pause you there for a moment. Let me just lay this on. This is not like I was recently listening to an interview between Bill Cooper and Alex Jones from like 30 years ago when they were talking about Cooper's book, "Behold the Pale Horse,"
oh
and
yeah,
we are not in that age. They cannot pull another Bill Cooper. They cannot just disappear us or kill us
oh
like
yes,
that
they can.
because we are millions now. We are probably tens of millions. Probably we are in the billions across the world that have
They're
understood
gonna
the
destroy
issue.
you. In fact, they're gonna do it with pressing one key. So before you were depersoned, and then also hordes of anonymous weirdos would inundate your job, inundate your landlord, do a whisper campaign against you. And it has happened at every level of society, where you also have gang stalking that has occurred. So, what I'm trying to say with all this is that it's going to be so simplified for them. It will be very simplified. Like, gang stalking is a real thing that happens to people. But then you also have organizations again, like the SPLC,
But I mean,
like the
what are they gonna
Antifa.
gang stalk with? Are they gonna gang stalk you with feds or Antifa mobs? Because the Antifa mobs they are so dissolute right now. They can't even keep themselves up straight in the street because they're fentanyl zombies. Most of them right now, aren't they?
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. So I
Um,
mean, they don't have their little stooges that they had during all those decades that could fight anyone who noticed. They only have federal
but
troops right now, and
yeah, they're not going to need it.
are they gonna stay loyal, or are they gonna have to use the drones, all the robots, and all that shit? Is that what's gonna go down?
Well, I have to tell you, I wish there would be a stand. I wish that law enforcement in the United States, the way I always saw law enforcement is that they are your last civil defense. And a lot of these guys out here, they took an oath, and everything comes down to understanding. And they didn't take an oath to Zog. And there's a lot of retired guys out here. A
So you
lot of
think that
them.
there's gonna be like, could there be an army rising up of hundreds or millions, hundreds of thousands or millions of like oath keeper 3%ers that are gonna be like, yeah, yeah, we're gonna go the full Bill Cooper agenda, and We're gonna do the new American Revolution. You think that's gonna happen? It's possible to happen. A new American Revolution.
Well, I think that American Revolution would have to be just non-compliant. That's what it has to be. That's it. Like arms are not. Um, they won't suffice. Arms don't suffice. We're in nerd world now.
We're in clown world, and we're also entering this new. Because I've been reading this shit about or watching stuff. Let's go into this topic now. 2026 and 2027, and there's a bunch of kooks out there. I don't know if they're kooks even, but people out there saying 3i Atlas was just the beginning. In 2026, there's going to be a more massive object. It's going to be like open contacts with aliens and stuff, and they're going to do a great deception, and the Project Bluebeam, you know all this stuff.
Project Bluebeam.
Yeah, and then and just the other day, I saw a woman talking to an AI called Sage, I think.
Okay.
That was just revealing basically the entire Bluebeam plan to her, and all the plans sounded like that's actually what I myself thought. That's probably how it's gonna plan out. Like there's gonna be some physical craft, but most are gonna be holograms, and then there's actually gonna be biological entities that are not fully human, that might be chimera, hybrids, aliens, whatever, that are gonna be walking among us.
They might already.
That's creepy shit. That's creepy shit. That's like They Live. That's like that's like the movie They Live.
Well, you already have modes of people now.
Yes.
The ones that are genetic, live wires, and then the ones that are.
Oh, are you talking about the elongated skulls of the Rothschilds and the pharaohs? Are you talking about those?
Not really, but I mean,
yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, we've always been occupied. In a sense, this planet since the Garden of Eden has been occupied. In a sense, yes. But what we're seeing is an escalation of that occupation, right?
It's sure. I have to tell you, that's how these people are treating it. That's how they treat it. That's
what the AI said. What the AI said in this interview also was interesting. Is how the narrative was gonna be spun. I wish I could give the link now, but if you just go, it's an AI called Sage. The interviewer, I think Everything is Energy. She's like a new ager, so she doesn't have a Christian perspective on this. But they're like the new agers. Some of the new agers are really adjacent to Christianity. They're starting to almost understand the Great Deception now. So it goes through the narrative and saying that they're gonna spin it as there's a world invasion. You know, the War of the Worlds, H.G. Wells. That's how they're gonna spin it. And we're gonna have to unite, like Reagan said in that United Nations speech in the 80s.
Yeah.
In order to defeat them. And in order to defeat them, you're gonna have to take augmentation. You're gonna have to become a cyborg, you know? Or it might also be that you need to be shipped so that we know that you're not a fucking alien, right?
You have to say the N word.
Multitude of reasons. It's gonna be a multitude of reasons, and they're gonna unleash chimeras and shit. Some of these things.
I think they already have unleashed the chimeras.
Some of these scenarios, I have to admit, some of these scenarios, without even wanting to see them, I've seen them in dreams. Delirious dreams nonetheless. I've seen them.
Like what?
I've seen the scenario of like alien ships coming from. Many times I've had like nightmare scenarios about this. Not that I wanted it or that I often fantasize, but suddenly I had a dream. There's a bunch of alien craft coming in, and in the dream, usually I can point at the craft and say, "In the name of Jesus Christ, I compel you to go away," and it goes away. Okay. And also parts of this dreams also shows me like underground labs full of genetical experiments, chimeras, weird shit. And then when I heard this woman in the video and other videos related to it, they say the same shit. Oh, maybe my dreams aren't so crazy anymore. Like it's gonna be in the days of Noah. That's when the
Well,
Son
I
of Man
mean,
returns.
I don't know what frequencies you're tapping into.
Like Matthew 24:22, I think it is. Like in the days of Noah, it's gonna be when the Son of Man returns. I don't know what frequency I'm on sometimes, but I've seen weird shit in my dreams that have seemingly lined up with what people have been saying that they've also seen in their dreams out there on the internets, and what they've read in secret government documents, declassified government documents, etc.
Right.
So to me, I mean, I'm gonna lay it out. I'm gonna lay out what I think the timeline is here. I think
Okay.
around next year or 2027, we're gonna have open official contact, and it's gonna seem perhaps hostile, and then the Antichrist is gonna start rising, and then I think around 2030 he's gonna consolidate his position perfectly. He's gonna be like the master of the entire world, trying to defend us from this alien threat or something like that. And
Yeah.
then
Well,
and
definitely.
then and then he will rule for 3 years. And if you think about it, 2030. Wait a minute. What happened 2,000 years exactly before 2030? Well, Jesus Christ started his ministry in the year 30 AD, right? So it makes perfect sense that Antichrist that wants to emulate Christ starts his ministry in 2030, right? And then it continues for 2033. This is just my personal opinion. I'm a man. I could be wrong. And only our Father knows the real time, not even the angels. We know, but that's just my hunch at this point.
Well, I mean, we may have seen our last election. That's not
What?
as far fetched. Uh, they'll do something. Um, World War III. Who knows? I guess
Well,
that technically
I
already
saw that
started.
just now, actually, just half an hour or no, yeah, like a little bit before we started the pod in Germany. They're now drafting all the 18-year-old guys for World War III. So yeah, that could happen.
I think something's
It's
gonna
probably
happen. We might
it's
not
gonna
have
be a
another
combination of all of it
election.
because it's
Yeah,
gonna be the four
2028.
horsemen, right? Four horsemen: strife,
See, I don't
war,
really go for all that kind of stuff. I
strife,
don't know,
war,
man.
famine, plagues. You know,
Yeah, but this is all
death.
done by people. And see, I don't know me
It's
from
all
my
done by people, yes, but
upbringing.
I think that a certain group in this society, and not all of them, not every single member of them, but
Right.
some of them, especially the ones like the Rothschilds, are intermixed with a certain group that I don't think even comes from this planet. That's what I think. Yeah, that's what I came to believe. I'm sorry, but it's
Based on
out there
what? Based on what?
based on a lot of things. I want to mention, for example, the Museum of Tarot channel. I know that he's not a Christian, but when I looked
Okay.
into the stuff that he said about elongated skulls
Oh,
and how the
I just bought a book.
uh-huh.
It's right over here somewhere. And I started reading it. It's about what they're talking about. And also like the giants, and I just
Yeah.
like to read whatever foremost information is out there. But I don't know. It just sounds like bullshit.
You think so?
I'm
Because to me
sorry.
it makes more and more sense because I mean the Bible tells us that all of our impulses comes from the flesh, right?
Yes.
But there are certain impulses and certain sickos out there that I seen do shit that my
Uh-huh.
flesh has never tempted me to do.
Right.
So their flesh can't be
It's
human
different.
flesh.
Well, I will agree with you right there that some people are born differently. And
Yeah.
I noticed that when I was young.
Yeah.
Now it's like most people, most people. When I was young, it's like, there's a lot of kids around if you're growing up, and I mean like 25 and under, whatever. I'm seeing all kids, and but you always could look at one and know that they have some sort of piece in them, something different. You know what I mean?
Elongated skulls. I'm telling you. Yeah, go on.
Oh, um. Anyway,
Yeah, go on. The streaks, the features.
the psychopath, right? So we talked about this previously before this reboot, that the brain of a psychopath is physically and materially different than regular people.
Right. I actually saw a lot of medical studies. They saw in studies of a case of a person who had he had physical damage done a lot to his prefrontal cortex,
Yes.
extensive damage in his childhood, and he became a psychopath.
Yes. But guess what? Through environmental factors, you can create sociopath. And it's not just, and it's by, so everything that you do affects you physically.
In some way,
Oh, so,
epigenetically or otherwise, yeah.
yeah. So then a persistent mental state or emotional state of chronic stress creates
You know what I
sociopathy.
right. Yeah, stress. That's
Or
a very good
psychopathy.
point because it matches up with I saw that there was a new Sean Ryan Sean Ryan just released a podcast where he was interviewing this behaviorist, the guy who was basically the master of all the psyops of intelligence agency or something. I can't remember his name. I think it was Brian or something. Brian Chase. I'm sorry. But it was a recent Sean Ryan show, and in that show, that expert, who is an expert on he know everything about Edward Bernays, propaganda, psyops, fate. You know, fate that what do you call it? Focus, authority, tribe, and emotion. That you can steer any human mind with these four principles. And he's mentioned that when people live in tribes that are bigger than a normal hunter gatherer nomad tribe, which was regularly around 150 200 people, if people live in bigger settlements than that, they will turn naturally a little bit sociopathic, a little bit apathetic towards their fellow humans. That's just the way our mammalian brains are wired, because we cannot be too engrossed in feeling empathy for everyone all the time, because it would shut us down
Absolutely.
energetically, unfortunately.
I mean, that's a good observation. Um,
And I think that the elites, or whoever they are, if they're human or not, that they are abusing this. That they're trying to put us together, cluster us into mega cities, so that we don't care about each other, so that we don't care, to make us
well, I
apathetic, to
mean, it's
make us
part of it.
disconnected from the earth, disconnected from heaven, disconnected from natural living.
Absolutely. And they think that they can provide identity to people. And
Yeah.
we've seen it happen on the left. Like the best example is like gender ideology, and that comes like straight from the top.
Yeah.
From these corporations and these think tanks, and that's
Yeah.
why they
In
wanted
the
to
interview, he mentioned he in the interview he mentioned specifically, when you can create a new identity for a person, you can make them do almost anything.
Yes, you can.
You
Yes,
can take morality off the table. He brought up that experiment that I already knew about, where they they brought in a bunch of people to see if they would administer shocks, to people
oh yeah,
if they were
I remember
if they were ordered by someone in a white coat. He brought up that experiment, and 100% of people in the
that.
experiment would push the 230-volt button, which is actually lethal.
Yes,
67% would go all the way up to the max.
yes. And so this is the biggest problem that we have in society. It's that people are only smart enough to follow directions,
Yes.
to do what they're told, or their followers. We have a whole society of older followers, and nobody is actually thinking for themselves. That's the biggest problem. But when they have so many assaults on them from the environment, and that I also mean social environment, medically, the air that you breathe, the food that you eat, there are assaults from every direction on Americans in particular. And yeah,
Exactly.
it's sad
Yeah, I mean, what he
that if you can
says
have
in that
one
interview,
person,
he says in that interview, he even breaks it down a little bit by gender, I think, as far as I remember. But he basically says that people are afraid. He also talks about I think 6 weaknesses or something, 6 dependencies. Like people always are looking for, I want to be approved by my mates. I want to have status. I want to have money. I don't want to be shut out. You know,
yep,
and because of all these stigmas around us, most people conform. But
yeah,
now,
it's
and this
sad.
is why I'm asking, now that we see millions, perhaps 100, perhaps even billions waking up to this little problem, are we going to see like a new type of right-wing political correct corridor form over there, where they're going to be like forming completely new values that are Nietzschean and not Christian but very right-wing? Or what's going to happen?
Well, they have to make a choice. But you know what the messed up thing is? They always had the choice.
They always had a
It
tool
was
for what?
always there to do the right thing, the good thing, or bad. You know what I mean? And we opted for evil, and now we have evil. So there's people out there. I hear them say, "Where's your God now?" Or
I was
things
thinking
like
it
that.
earlier. It's so easy. It's so easy, really. It's a conversation all the time. Like the devil has no power over you unless you let him.
Yeah, but we have let him, and
Yeah,
for
that's the
a long
problem.
time. And then there's no devil. It
There is no
was
devil.
all. Listen, there's no devil. There's only man and God. 666 is the
Well,
number of mankind.
as Roman Catholic, I shall inform. No, but seriously, this is how we define it in Catholic theology, as far as I understand it, is that we have concupiscence, as we call it, which is you have a fleshly nature that is going to call you and tempt you to do certain things. That is just your fleshly nature. But on top of that, there are also demonic spirits that can whisper and encourage you to do things that are even beyond what is normally natural or normal temptations. That's how we view it in Catholicism, as
Right,
far
but
as
there
I
has to
know.
be the right set of circumstances and an environment for that. And that's pretty much called U.S. society. Whole
Well,
society.
usually
That's our whole
demons
society.
whisper to us when demons whisper to us,
There's
and
no
we are
whispering anymore.
actually weak enough to listen to them and follow them. It's because we've been traumatized, or we have
Exactly.
been
Traumatized and
demoralized,
coated.
completely demoralized somehow. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. I'm coping. And then those copes, like drugs, alcohol, fornication, and just all the foul things that have been normalized.
I think it actually takes sins worse than that because you see most normies are already in those sins, but the mass, like the really really fucked up people out there, like you read, oh, this guy, he went into prison because he raped a newborn. Those kind of people I'm talking about, like demoniacs, you know.
Yes,
There
but
is
they have to
no,
start somewhere.
I have no explanation. There's no fleshly temptation kind of thing that I can think of that can explain that kind of supernatural evil. No, there's not.
Um, yeah, the evil proclivities and propensities, because any given person is unlikely to be pushed to that extent, even with pornography, drugs, and this or that.
No, no, no. That requires basically you go directly to Satan and say, "Hey, fucking possess me," and then you become the most evil, vile creature. I can only understand it. It's a supernatural kind of evil to me. I can understand evils like, oh, that guy shot his wife because he found her fucking another man in his own bed. Okay, he shouldn't have done that, and she shouldn't have done that. But that's kind of like a natural kind of evil that you see often, you know. But this kind of
Yeah,
unnatural evil where they go out of their way to destroy innocence,
probably.
to
Yeah,
hurt kids,
they
to
need to be stopped.
mutilate people, to disfigure permanently, to transmogrify the beautiful into the ugliest, you know?
Yes, that sounds like
That
the
is unnatural. That is
fire.
supernatural evil to me.
It really is, and but they can only be stopped by good people. You know, only a good guy can stop a bad guy. It's just that the good guys,
Yeah, and by
first
the
off,
way,
they
when
have
you
to
said that,
realize that they're
I'm
good.
gonna do a little shameless plug here. So me, I started an organization. We're starting Christian nationalist. It's actually pan nationalist. We allow non-Christian nationalists. They cannot just they cannot post anti-Christian stuff. But the core of our group and leadership is Christian nationalist, and we're a private military company basically. That doesn't mean that we are mercenaries like Blackwater or those savages in Serbia that let people shoot kids, or like these. No, we want to help any good government entity or non-government entity that needs help, or a party or a rally like the British Revolution. If they need help to protect their rally, that's what this private military company was formed to protect. So that it's called the Iron Legion,
Okay.
and we are organized currently on Telegram. Anyone who is interested in that can contact me directly. So concerning, and we're also aiming to build civilian homesteads around our training sites, which we call Project Homestead. So it's going to be a civilian and kind of a paramilitary project combined together. But this paramilitary project is not offensive; it's mainly defensive. Mainly
Okay.
defensive. No, it's basically only defensive. Yeah, we are gonna rent out or even give out voluntarily our help to the good causes that we see that fight for Christ and European identity. So that was my shameless plug. You go on.
But,
What were you saying?
well, I mean, we're talking about something a little bit different, but I guess I was just saying that Christians have to be a little more proactive. Actually, is what I was going to say. But it seems that you have that um, covered. But you know, you have to live your convictions. And this is what Christians have to do. You have to live their uh, convictions and their values and not back down. And I think that we've turned the corner, at least in the U.S., in this regard. I really do. Parents have had it. You know, the it really is recruitment in the schools of the youth, just by exposing kids to um, first off transgenders in bathrooms, things like that, and for things that they shouldn't even be presented with at all.
Deb, I need
Yeah.
to ask you. Sorry, this is a personal question. Do you have any children?
I do not have any children.
When I got children,
Uh-huh.
I immediately, when my wife said, "Should we go back to Sweden for some good, financial economic opportunities?" And I was like, "Yeah, there are good financial opportunities there, but you don't want to put them in public school
Mm-mm.
because it's full of these creeps that are preying on your children."
They are.
And this is why I love Colombia. Yeah, Viva Colombia, Arriba Colombia. It's because here in the public life, they don't allow that shit in the public schools.
Good.
In
Yeah, they're
public schools, you
predating
go
your
to public schools,
children.
you can see a priest out in the gymnasium preaching to everyone. They put up the cross high, they raise the standards, they sing the patriotic anthems, they sing the psalms. That's how public schools should be.
It's true. I tell you, if I had to do it again, I was working like a dog in my 20s. You know, just like the kids say now, 2, 3 jobs, that's standard. Taking it easy, 2 jobs. That's basically what I was doing. Working and trying to survive. And if I had to do it again, I would just be like a baby factory if I could do it again, if I did, you know? But it's like, it's like, well, people say, oh, wait until I can afford this. And it doesn't come. You know what I mean? It doesn't happen. Or if it'll happen too late. Or you never know what could happen in life, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm going to wait until we have a house. Wait until we can't even afford a house. The kids now, So that's,
It's
have the
sadly to
kids.
see. A lot of the nuclear family structures that should have been there for everyone
That's
during
another thing.
any generation, they have been dismantled. They have been dismantled in the West,
Everything.
and we are suffering the consequences of it. But
Yeah.
my generation, if not my generation, then the Gen Z generation, and if not their generation, then my kids' generation will fix the course of this decadent culture, unless Antichrist comes next year, and then we have Christ coming in 7 years. So it doesn't matter. But anyway, or 8 years. But let's go on to the final points here. Yeah. But what about the crime wave in California, and the end of the government shutdown? What do you think? Is Trump gonna go clamp down on those clowns over there in California and LA? What is he gonna do?
Well, I mean, it would be really interesting to see him do that. California, that's what they wanted, right? Didn't they do that Proposition 47 back in mid 2000s, something like that? And so then drug offenses and theft and some property crimes went from being felonies to misdemeanors.
Misdemeanors, exactly. That's why
And
they're
then,
not intervening anymore, right?
I'm sorry?
That's why the cops aren't even showing up anymore, because it's not even worth the paperwork, right?
Yeah, because they've been disabled. Yeah, liberalism killed law enforcement. It murdered law enforcement.
Yeah.
And that's why, and they refocused law enforcement. But,
Yeah. Yeah. To
I
help
mean, it's
to
not
help
everywhere.
they help the criminals instead of the victims. Yeah.
Yeah.
But is Trump, you think, gonna go like one now? He has now reopened government officially. He's gonna go full martial law on them, or what is he gonna do? You think?
To take back the state, California, or just
Yeah, I mean,
Ventura and
I
Washington
read
County?
that Mexican cartels are apparently invading entire suburbs, or what?
That's the thing. Like when you reduce penalties for drug activity, drugs are the center point for other crimes. You know what I mean? Like prostitution, human trafficking, and things like that. So when you reduce those crimes, those penalties for these crimes, um, well, that which you subsidize grows. And so the big guns came in, and so you go what? You have Shine Bomb on the other side in Mexico. Would do they sanction that? Having all their thugs come over? Because there's no doubt that the so-called elite run these cartels.
Absolutely. I mean, they gain from it. The more chaos is in the streets, the better. Because if they can pay 50% of the proles to kill the other 50% of the proles, then they're just like, thank you.
Yep. Yep. When that Shine Bomb she was running for president, we saw it there. Like how many candidates were murdered. They are the cartel.
Yeah.
Like these ones that we're talking about. It's a huge crime syndicate.
Yeah.
A
And we know that the banksters, they're also
Yep,
mobsters.
gangsters.
That's where
Yep.
they came from. That's where their money came from. All the Jewish mafia. Yeah, let's go
Their
into
money
that one day.
came from
You know, the
prostitution.
Italian mob and the Irish mob, but they don't talk about, you know. But Al Capone, he was a little bit, you know.
You think?
So yeah, I actually heard that he had some lineage. Yeah. So, but I mean that's a whole other story. You can look at
Treat
it.
them
I
like
mean,
that.
they do depict Jewish mafia a bit in Sopranos and other movies. So that we know where the money of the ghettos where they come from, the loan sharks. We know that they're on the same wavelength as the cartels of Mexico. We know that they disregard human life if they can gain money and power. We know this. That's how they act.
Oh
That's how
yeah,
they
we do. I
operate.
mean,
The elongated skulls. That's how they operate.
they have like slow lifetime.
Well,
Maybe. I mean,
you see, the Aztecs, their deities, their pagan deities, also had elongated skulls. And now the cartels in Mexico are actually Aztec supremacist pagans. So it all lines up back to Satan. He's the originator of all this shit.
oh yeah. I mean, when the conquistadors, like Cortez in particular, saw the level of human sacrifice that was going on, and it was children, and they were trying to elicit from the children as much fear and terror
Yeah.
as possible, and they stated that they're the god. I forgot the name of the god, the serpent god. That
Quetzalcoatl.
it. Sorry.
Quetzalcoatl.
Uh huh. That the god required. We see that in the Canaanite.
Yeah, yeah. I
We
mean,
see that in other areas, like the
in a
same
single
thing.
day, when it was the Teotihuacan pyramid,
Yeah.
when they initiated that pyramid, they killed 80,000 people in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
But
like,
what I'm saying is,
isn't
this
that
can't
almost on
come
par with the
around.
Rwanda? That's almost on par with the Rwandan suicide. 80,000 people in one day. It's messed up. Um,
There's
yeah, but
probably a little bit
I
more.
think that in the end, Deborelli, you believe in Jesus. I believe in Jesus. We believe in Jesus. And everyone who believes in Jesus out there, God is with you. And if God is with you, who can be against you? And we know that there's a tribe out there that is against you, that is against all of mankind, like scripture states in Thessalonians. We know. But no weapon shall prosper against you. I think that that's the note that we shall end on. What do you think?
That works for me.
All right.
I know that the
Hail
element that we're
Christ.
dealing with is Christ.
Do you have any other words for the
I know
listeners?
that the ones that vie against people and nature fear Christ.
They fear Christ. So we
They
must
fear Christ.
rally around his banner and his cross to save our peoples and mankind in general, because this shit is getting dark, man.
Well, I think
Especially
we're in
that stuff I saw in Sudan, from those images from space where you could see just like rivers of blood in the streets. We know who's behind this. It's the evil one and
the same
his people. So yes, I think we shall end it there
Okay.
on
Thank
this
you so
fateful
much for your
day.
time.
Thank you, Devarelli, and God bless.
God bless.